Zelig, tell me when you get a copy. You as well, Shoshana. Tell me when you get the copy.
My eye hurts.
We have the Dean of Shiur today.
What? Is the thing from this one? Is the doctor coming?
Yeah, you go. Have you go? Yeah, great. And what about your Rosie? Rosie, have you got sheets yet? This side? Okay, let's start. Otherwise, I'll run out of time. We have reached Parshat Vayechi. I think, unfortunately, this is the fewest times ever I have given Klali and Bereshit. I can't remember the last time. I think it was the Akedah. I don't know. It's a long time. So I know you're as happy as me that we are reunited. But in the Parshat Vayechi, I need you to follow me here. I have a lot of sources, and I have to get to the end. So we have brachot. We have two stages of brachot. We have brachot that Yaakov gives to Ephraim and Menashe, his grandchildren, and we have brachot that Yaakov gives to his children in the last chapter or so, in chapter Memtet. And I want to deal with one particular bracha, then another bracha, and if you bear with me, I have something very important to say. And those of you who look at the title will know that that is Shakespeare. Shimon Levi, and this is going to be directly referring to the question you asked me this morning, Alex, right? Shimon Levi, Achim, their brothers, Klei Hamas Mecheroteim, they were involved in violence, using violent tools. Besodam al Tavon Afshi, I don't want to be part of their secret, their plan that they had. Bikalam al Techad Kabodi, in their gathering, I don't want my kabod to be. He is referring to Shimon and Levi. Ki ba'apam hargu ish, in their anger they killed people. Uvirsonam ikru shor, and willingly they uprooted. A shore is an ox, but it's probably allusion to Yosef. And this is the pasuk I'm really interested in here. Arur apam ki az ve'evratam ki kashata. Their anger is cursed. And then Yaakov says, Achalakem ve'Yaakov afitzem ve'Yisrael. I will disperse them. And almost all of our Mefarshim understand this to be negative connotation. Shimon and Levi, on the one hand, they are Achim. They are the only brothers who stood up for Dinah. No one else initiated any kind of defense of their sister. So in that sense, they are Achim, they are brothers. But Achalakem beYaakov afitzem beYisrael. There is a remarkable essay. This is where I want to start. In the Emet LeYaakov. Piresh Rashi. Rashi on this pasuk says the most extraordinary thing. You would think that Achalakem beYaakov afitzem beYisrael means they're going to be divided, spread across Israel, which is in fact what happened. Shimon doesn't really have a chelek in Eretz Israel. He is part of Yehuda. And Levi don't have a nachala because they are Kohanim, right? They're the tribe that deal with religiosity. They are spread everywhere. What does Rashi say? Ein lecha aniyim sofrim umelamdei tinokot ela mishimon kedei shiyu nefutzim v'shivtei Levi asau mechazeh al agranot letrumot u'masrot. The educators and the religious leaders will come from Shimon and Levi. Where on earth does Rashi get this from? Achalakem beYaakov afitzem beYisrael. In a basic educator's lashon would be, they can't be together. They are very bad together. When they get together, they pogrom Shechem, and they are, Rashi gives you the cheshbon there, which I'm not going to go into now. They are the direct initiators of what happened to Yosef. He works it out through family hierarchy. עיין בחידושנו לעיל בפרשת וישלח שביארתי שאף שבוודאי היה כאן עונש נגד שמעון ולוי, even though there is implied here a punishment to Shimon and Levi, מכל מקום, בדוקה מינה יעקב את שבטים אלו תפקידים נעלים אלו של חינוך הבנים ושמירת תשמישי קדושה. Above and beyond that, Yaakov has appropriated for these people, for Shimon and Levi, to be part of the Shomrim of Judaica and the educators of Israel. כי רק שמעון ולוי הראו את הקנאות הנדרשת של החזונה יעשה את אחותינו. רק הם נקראו אחי דינה. And he says, why? Why were Shimon and Levi chosen to be the educators? So there is something very negative about what they did in Shechem. But there's something very positive as well. Because they did something. They have energy. They have enthusiasm. The problem is, or the challenge is, that the energy needs to be channeled. Shimon and Levi, they have koach, because they're achim, because something happened to their sister and they did something. What they did, I don't agree with. But the fact that they did something reflects a potential in these boys. I want the teachers of Israel to have the energy and the enthusiasm of Shimon and Levi. Imagine for yourself, if all the teachers you ever had were Rav Bailey's. Imagine the situation that the Am Yisrael would be in today with that relentless and eternal energy, year in, year out. That if every teacher who was a teacher wanted to be a teacher, and wasn't just a teacher because you get good vacation time with your kids, or because it's an easy job, which it isn't. The educators have to have people who have fire in their eyes, who are driven. Shimon and Levi, achim, they are brothers. Their sister was raped. The others did nothing. They stood up and did something. משום שמסרו נפשם עליה, וכדי להצליח במשימות כאלו מוכרחים למנות אנשים שיש בהם מידת הקנאות ומסירות נפש להשם. on these jobs of religiosity, of education, of running the Jewish people, you have to have people who are crazy about the job, who just keep doing the job because they believe in it. It's everything. That they'll do everything in order to make this work. They have to have that kana'ut. That when they see something's wrong, they do something about it. But the energy needs to be challenged in the right way. I've noted on numerous occasions that when you look at the four sons in the Haggadah, everyone focuses on the Rasha. But out of all four children, I think the most problematic is She'eino Yodea Lishol. Because if you've ever looked, many Haggadot present the She'eino Yodea Lishol, the one who doesn't know how to ask, as a little child. When was the last time you met a child who can speak, who doesn't know how to ask? They don't stop asking questions. They never stop talking. They've always got something to say. So it's not clear to me She'eino Yodea Lishol is a little kid. To me, She'eino Yodea Lishol is a 21st century teenager who can't take their eyes off a screen. Nothing interests them. Nothing triggers them. There's no energy. I don't think the Rasha is a problem. We just need to channel the energy of the Rasha. I was a madrich many years ago of a sheret in Bnei Akiva, and they did a shidduch between us because I was a naughty boy. These kids were so naughty, and I was in charge of them. And we used to have these camps in Bnei Akiva, and we had a winter camp. And it was in one of these big old English schools that each year we got thrown out of because we destroyed them. Thank God there are enough English schools like that to do many, many camps over many years. We're having a discussion in this counselors' meeting at 1:00 in the morning, and we're divided. They are the right-wing men, boys, and the left-wing ladies. The boys say, kill them, throw them out. They're disgraceful. They cannot be educated. And the women are a group of Yakiras, they're Neshamas, they're Yehudim. What are you going to do to them? In the middle of this conversation, there is a knock at the door. I'm telling you how it happened. I opened the door. They wanted to speak to Dive. I'm Dive. D-I-V-E. I'm Dive. You have to know London Cockney to know that I'm Dive. And I said, okay, what's the problem? Now, just to put it in context, in those days, the radiators on the wall were half the length of this room and as double the size of this stender. And the guy says to me, the radiator fell off the wall. It can't fall off the wall. It's like the wall will fall off. So I said, well, how did that happen? Don't know. Just happened. So I had to go upstairs. I realized we're not going back to that school again. I had to go upstairs, went into the dormitory, and the radiator had come off the wall. So I said, this is very serious. Who did this? And shtul, everyone shtul. And then a boy comes up to me with his sleeping bag. His sleeping bag, you know what a sleeping bag is? Is it called that in American?
Yeah.
Geschlafen in German. Full of shaving foam. Do you know how many cans of shaving foam it takes to fill a sleeping bag? It is an incredible, incredible exercise. And the guy's standing there with his sleeping bag and he says, look what they did to my sleeping. Look what they did to it. I can still see it. It's probably the 40th anniversary of this happening. Look what they did to my sleeping bag. And I said, that's terrible. I was really shocked. So I closed the door to the dorms and I said, who did this? I'm not leaving here until I know who did this. And after 2 minutes, the guy comes up to me and he says, I did it. So I took him, I said, so why did you do it? He said, last night he threw a firework at my head. So I went back to the original guy. I put my arm around him. You were allowed to do that. And I said to him, let me give you some advice for life. If you don't want people to fill your sleeping bag with shaving foam, I suggest you don't try and kill them. And then I just left them. Why do I tell you this? I have an hour and a half of stories about these chevra. I want you to know that every single one of these people is an absolute expert in his field today. Every single one of them. All we needed was to redirect the energy. One is in chinuch. Some of them have got more money than I'll earn in 3 reincarnations. They are so successful. You just need to take the energy and channel it. Yaakov sees something which is so important in education, right? You see someone, you don't just see them now. How does the Piyat Sesna put it? I'm sure you've done this with Rabbi Akiva. The Piyat Sesna says the problem sometimes as parents or educators is you look at a tree. If you look at a tree of oranges and they're not ripe yet, you don't decide that oranges are no good. You realize that it's not ripe. Wait for it to become ripe and it will be tasty. Just wait and it will be tasty. So when you look at a kid who's 15 years old and they're not there yet, they're not right. Just wait. You just need patience and you need to channel. Yaakov sees this with Shimon and Levi. That's the message of the Emet Yaakov. He sees this with Shimon and Levi. He says they have energy. They have more energy than any. None of the brothers did anything. Their sister was raped, Ribono Shel Olam. No one did anything. They got up and they did something. The way they did it was wrong. I would advise them to have done something else if they'd have asked me. They didn't ask me. That was wrong. But I want them to be the educators, because if I can take that energy that they have and place that energy into chinuch, into avodat Hashem, achalakem beYaakov afitzeni. So I want these people all over Israel, because I need this energy all over Israel. Even if it's not shut. It's so correct. Now, in the second paragraph, he goes on to tell us something else. Shimon and Levi were together, right? They fought the people of Shechem and killed them. Rashi explains how they were the people who initiated the attack on Yosef. They worked together. But there is a time in Tanakh where they actually killed each other, or one killed the other. You wouldn't know it if I didn't tell you. You have to go all the way to Sefer Bamidbar. And Sefer Bamidbar, as things are going from bad to worse, the prince of the tribe of Shimon takes a non-Jewish woman and does a sexual act in front of Moshe. And who stands up and kills him? Pinchas. Pinchas, who was from the tribe of Levi. From being Achim, when you get towards the end of Sefer Bamidbar, Levi kills Shimon. Both of them are involved in acts of fire. The prince of Shimon, the head of the tribe of Shimon, is doing a promiscuous act. That's fire. Bad fire. Levi. Pinchas is a Kohen. Kohen comes from Levi. He kills him. Shimon against Levi. Asks Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, what went wrong? What went wrong? He said, the fact is that Levi spent all their time in the Mishkan. So all their energy was channeled in the right way. But Shimon was just a regular tribe at that time around the Mishkan. And they didn't channel their energy, but they had the energy. Energy you have. You know, my wife, a number of years ago, told me that I've got to find shiurim to give in the summer. And I said to her, why? She said, when you give shiurim, you get all of that energy out of you. And when you don't give shiurim, I have to deal with your energy. I have to deal with you. And I told you in class the other day, when I was about 19 or 20, I gave a shiur in my local shul. And I'm standing with my dad after the shiur, and someone comes up to my dad and said, he must have been such a handful. He must be such a handful, he said to him. And my dad kind of laughed. And when he went away, I said to my dad, well, how does he know that I'm a handful? So my dad says, if you get excited in shiur, you get excited, right? People get excited. People who are apathetic and boring, they're always boring. People who make a noise always make a noise. So what you've got to learn to do is channel your noise, channel your energy. Everyone has a job. It has to be channeled. Everything that we have has to be channeled, and everyone has something that they have to channel their work in. That is this piece by Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, which I think is phenomenal. Turn over the page. What we have here in these brachot is a definition. And we did it in eternity a while ago when we spoke about the different definitions, the different jobs, the different specialities that each tribe has. And we questioned how that can be passed from one generation to many generations after. But nonetheless, everyone has a particular job. And Levi's job was to be in the Mishkan, to be in the Beit Mikdash. But take it a bit further. Just skip the Ramban and go to the Peninei Halacha. I chose this source, but I could have brought you any number of sources on this subject. I did this also in eternity, just to put it into context. The tribe of Levi could be 20,000 people plus. It's clear to you and me that 20,000 people are not needed in the Beit Mikdash on a regular basis. It's not such a big area. And the truth of the matter is, if you learn Mishnayot, you will be aware that the Leviim had miluim. That's where the word comes from. They had miluim. Twice a year for 2 weeks. 2 weeks a year, a week at a time, where they would have to come to the Beit Mikdash. The Kohanim would have the job of working with the Korbanot, and not every day. They would each one have a specific day, and they were on reserve duty for the other days. And the Leviim would come here too, but only twice a year for a week at a time. But they don't have a nachala, they don't have an area of land that belongs to them. So what do they do for the rest of the year? Now remember, we give trumot and masrot, we give a lot of matanot, kahuna and matanot to the Leviim, which are really taxes. There's more to truma than tax, but to a degree it's tax. Have a look at Peninei Halacha. B'nosaf la'avodat ha'korbanot b'Beit HaMikdash, in addition to the work that they had to do in the Beit Mikdash, hayu lekohanim shnei tafkidim ikariyim. They had two specific jobs. Ha'echad lechanech u'lehorot halacha b'Yisrael. They were the teachers, like Rashi said, right? They are the mechanchim. They were the rabbis. Mashiach comes, I got to go back to being a farmer. Rav Yonatan's going to sing, Rav Sassman will carry on doing education, but I'm just a peasant Israel. So I've got to go back to being a farmer. And the educators are from the tribe of Levi. I'm not from the tribe of Levi. My grandfather was on my mother's side, but my father isn't. The Kohanim, the tribe of Levi, the entire tribe is about education. Remember, we spoke about it when we spoke about Ari Miklat in eternity. And they were also to make peace amongst Am Yisrael, to be those go-betweens, mediators when there was argument. And Kedei, next paragraph, Kedei la'afsher lekohanim lefatech et shnei ha'yesodot halalu. In order to facilitate the fact that this tribe was able to do what it had to do, ha'chokhmah ve'achesed kava Torah she'hakohanim lo yekablu nachala be'esod. They don't get ground, they don't get land, they don't work the land, they're not farmers. They're not farmers. We pay taxes in order to facilitate their ability to educate. That's the job of Kohanim. So you've got that. We have Shimon and Levi. Levi are going to be Kohanim. Each tribe has its job. The Kohanim, the tribe of Levi and the Kohanim are the educators, are the religious climax of the Jewish people. Go to the Ramban. And what's important in this Ramban, ladies, it's such an important Ramban. And it hurts me that I have to give shiur on this subject, And not just for you, because you don't need to hear this shit. But it hurts me that I have to give this shit. It's not what the Ramban says. It's what the Ramban doesn't say. Now, what is the bracha given to Yehuda? The bracha given to Yehuda is Lo yasum shevet mi Yehuda uchoket mi bei raglav. Kings are going to come from the tribe of Yehuda. In an idyllic situation, I haven't quoted you the whole Ramban because you know the first king Shaul doesn't come from Yehuda, he comes from Binyamin, and he explains that. If you want to have a look, you look at the Ramban. I've kind of shortened it because we don't have so much time. אבל עניינו שלא יעשו שבט מיהודה אל אחד מאחיו, כי מלכות ישראל המושל עליהם ממנו יהיה. Yehuda has to be king. Kings have to come from Yehuda. ולא ימשול אחד מאחיו עליו. And none of the brothers can be kings. וכן לא יעשו מחוקק מבין רגליו. He is the legislator. Most of us are from the tribe of Yehuda. Most of us. Some of us are from the tribe of Levi, but the majority of people in the room are from the tribe of Yehuda. ולפי דעתי היו המלכים המולכים על ישראל משעה שבטים אחרי דוד עוברים על דעת אביהם ומעבירם נחלה. And my opinion, says the Ramban, any king in the history of the Jewish people after David HaMelech who does not come from the tribe of Yehuda is committing an Isur min HaTorah, because you're not allowed to be a king if you come from another tribe. You're not allowed to be a king if you come from another tribe. Now listen to this. וזה היה עונש החשמונאים שמלכו בבית שני. This was the punishment of the Maccabim, who come from the tribe of Levi, because they became kings at the time of the second Beit Mikdash. כי היו חסידי עליון, because they were important religious people. And in truth, ilmaleihem, had it not been for them, nishtakhu haTorah v'hamitzvot miYisrael, the Torah would have been lost from Israel. Listen carefully. V'afal pikein ne'enshu onesh gadol, they were given an enormous punishment. Ki arba'at b'nei Chashmonai hazaken hachasidim hamolchim ze achar ze, the four Chashmonaic sons who ruled one after the other, im kol gevuratam ba'atzlachatam, in all of their courage and their success, naflu biyad oivehem b'charev, they were all killed at war. V'higia ha'onesh besof, and the punishment was such that it says in the Gemara in Bava Batra that if anyone today says to you that they are descended from the Chashmonaim, the likelihood is that they are illegitimate, because they can't be, because they were wiped out. And it's possible that their sin was that they became kings and they were Kohanim, and they were told to be in the Beit Mikdash and not to be kings. That's an incredible Ramban. There is a Khatam Sofer. The Khatam Sofer says if you look through Shas, Mishnayot, you will not find a Masechet Chanukah. If you did Chanukah in the run-up to Chanukah with